Hello everybody, my name is Glen Dobbs and I'm the president of LoganTech, and today we're going to be covering bridging the gap between low-tech and high-tech AAC. And disclaimer here, I'm only a dad, so I don't have any professional credentials that would lead you to believe that I know what I'm talking about, except for the fact that I'm a father and an engineer. We're going to cover why I'm here, what we're doing, what our challenge was with our son, the solution that didn't exist, and RFID as an access method. Some of the old school methods that like PECs and things that are very valid, that are very relevant in today's technological world. And I'll talk a little bit about where we took the company and the types of things that we did with it. And I'm going to show you a lot of examples of what other people have done with our technology that I didn't anticipate. So I used to build and race electric cars. This is back when I had long hair, and this is an electric vehicle we made long before Tesla, about 35 years ago. So I have a lot of hands-on work, and was not involved in the assistive technology realm back in those days. We have a son with autism named Logan, who's nonverbal, and he is now 27 years old. And this goes back to a time when he was, a wee lad. We started working on some solutions for him. This is an electric police motorcycle that we made for a police department a long time ago. I like this picture. This is a picture of Logan and me at Block Island, which is up off the coast of Long Island in New York. And it shows nonverbal communication. This is a way of expressing feelings and love and affection that is hard to do with an AAC system. I like to point this out because a lot of times, we forget about the human qualities and how much you can get out of just facial expressions and gestures and sounds. It's kind of a neat thing. We used to do Eskimo kisses where we'd rub our nose together. Now he doesn't like to do that at his age. That's not cool. But when he was a young kid, it was really neat. So is anybody here familiar with PECs, picture exchange communication? This is a non-technological AAC system that is really cool. Uses pictures on Velcro with books, and it's a really good idea. The people who do PECs are very specific about how you should do it, but I find that a lot of teachers and therapists and parents adapt PECs in a variety of different ways. But PECs doesn't talk, so I wanted my son to have a voice output system, and actually back in the day I wanted him to have a Dynavox, and there were no iPads back then, and we had an AAC assessment. They basically told me there was nothing on the market for our son. The good thing about PECs is that you physically take things and place them and create a sentence mechanically using physical things. And I think that really helps out in providing a framework for grammar, and also for kids with autism like my son, the physicality of it is very important. So I just mentioned we were basically told there's nothing on the market, stick to PECs, and that was kind of a sad day for me. I was very disappointed. Ironically, I didn't know anything. I thought if Logan got a dynamic screen device, he would be talking or communicating, and his autism would go away. And what I didn't know as a dad was that really didn't happen, and the autism wouldn't go away. But the ability to communicate was paramount to a higher quality of life. So this is a picture I found that I think reminds me of what it would be like if you couldn't talk. I've met people who've had a stroke. My mom had a stroke. She couldn't talk for a while. She did recover, but this idea of not being able to talk is very frustrating. And in autism, in particular, it can cause severe behaviors. So I think communication for people with autism is really important, especially if they have severe behaviors. So the technology we use is called RFID. If you are staying at a hotel, it is highly likely that you have one of these in your pocket. Or if you have a building you go to, like a hospital, you have access control. I used to work for a company that manufactured the locks for buildings, and I was an engineer there. So we used this technology. These are called proximity cards, or Prox cards for short. And we used this technology to create a ProxTalker, a talking machine that uses RFID. The original ProxTalker was the item in the upper right there that you see. And it had buttons that you would push and antennas, and when you push the button, it would read the card. And I tried it with my son, and the button was actually separated from the card. So the card was above the button, and you'd have to push the button below the card. And he kept pushing on the card instead of the button. And I thought that was interesting. So I realized that I had to make the card into the button. And so down below you see the ProxTalker is the machine with 5 buttons. Under those buttons are the RFID antennas, and you put the card on top of the button and you press the card just like he did. And so you didn't have to have that disassociation of the card and the button. And it was interesting to me that he actually couldn't connect that button and the card were related. It had to be the card. The button had to be the card. And that was interesting. I didn't know people could be in that circumstance cognitively. So that's why we wound up making that change. Thankfully, that was exactly what needed to happen. And then you can see his PEX books and schedule boards. These are original ones that he was actually using. So I like to talk about the assessment process. It's as a consumer, as a person who was on the receiving end of AAC assessment, as a father, and my wife, we saw that different AAC assessors did or didn't know what was available, even though, there's so many things available. So if you don't know what's available, or you have a limited amount of what's available, and you're a consumer, you're going to get shown specific products that relate to what that person knows. So as an AAC assessment person, you want to make sure that you know as much as you can about what's out there, and also that there are solutions other than screen-based systems, especially with visually impaired, and I'll get into that, that might be a better choice than a screen. So the AAC assessment is only as good as the person doing the AAC assessment. So it's a tricky thing. So the ProxTalker is one of the products that we make, and it has RFID technology. It can be used for single word requesting, sentence building, and you can customize it. We had a highly customized ProxTalker book with, we had spicy tuna roll, curry chicken, all the things that my son likes to eat. Places to go, Wendy's. We used to take him to New York City and Boston when we lived up in that area, so he could request to go on places, and it was really cool. And I'll show a picture. This is Logan in action here. Are we getting sound? Somehow we're not getting sound. It's okay. Well, anyway, I'll walk it through. He's basically using it at Disney World here, asking to go on rides, and at the end of the night, he says he wants to go to bed, and he goes for a boat ride and all of that. So anyway, you get the idea. So ProxPad, and I know I don't have a lot of time. So ProxPad is another iteration using RFID. So and this is a what we found with some people with the ProxTalker, it requires you to isolate, pick up, and place and press the tag. So you have to have the physical ability to grab and hold and press, and not everybody can do that. So the ProxPad has a larger antenna and a larger field of influence, and the surface of it has a switch that is very sensitive. And there are 2 modes. So the touch mode, you actually have to touch the device, just brush up against it, and it will turn on and read the card. And in proximity mode, it can be under a table or a wheelchair tray, and you do not even have to pick up the card. There could be a variety of choices on the table, and if you can have so much as an elbow or any kind of appendage to move that tag across, they will read through the table or wheelchair tray and speak. So you can have a very limited physical ability, but some physical ability, and a very limited visual or tactile ability. But as long as you can differentiate what you have, you can use it to make choices or communicate. This is often used with blind, deafblind, cortically visually impaired, nonverbal with some physical challenges, but the ability to at least move something across a table surface. So it can make almost anything talk, literally. You can just affix one of these cards to an object or a tactile symbol. And this is a, I don't know if this will work, but this is I'll skip it, but this is a person who is blind and nonverbal and has autism, and he's using this tactile PEX system. Again, I think we have sound issues. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, somehow it's not getting to the output. So yeah, we'll just skip this. But he's blind and has autism, and he's using tactile symbols to this is a visual schedule for a blind person, and then he uses it to communicate. So yeah, so pictures are always the beginning. Our therapist started using this technology with tactile symbols more and more. This is Step Center for Autism in Ohio. They used objects to do discrete trials training and get data. This is Turning Point Technology. They used objects coupled with pictures for picture-to-object generalization. This is tangible object communication cards from Adaptivation. The RFID card is the flat thing on the top, which is fries. And then you are able to use the fries. You can fade the object and start using just the flat pictures. My son struggled with picture-to-object generalization. These are tactile symbols for Foundation for Blind Children in Phoenix. They used hot glue to make the shapes. They have braille labels on the tags. This is also Foundation for Blind Children. These are from Perkins School for the Blind originally. We are working now with iHope Academy in New York City that is doing cortical visual impairment tactile symbols. We have some samples of those on the LoganTech booth over there. And these all can talk. Different objects and so forth. These are the Texas School for the Blind tactile symbols. The triangle represents a verb and the oval represents a noun. So it's a eat on the left and piano on the right. Laura Stefan from Overbrook School for the Blind did her PhD thesis on textures. We're gonna go. Okay, and so she used textures to do core vocabulary with a deaf-blind student. So my apologies. I think we have 10 minutes, and this is Stevie Wonder, and we got to go. So we're over here on the side. It's LoganTech, and thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, you can visit us over there at the booth. Thank you.